Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Thursday, September 24th, 2020. My name is Rich, and joining me once again this week is Bijan. How you making out?
I'm good, my man. This is the last podcast I'm on where I'm single. Next time you guys hear from me, I'm going to be a married man, locked up and everything.
Wow. That's great. That's tremendous. So we heard last time you're going to be going for a long trek. Are y'all ready for it? Are y'all packed up and ready to go?
Nope. I will be packing maybe like an hour before we leave, knowing me. But you know, it's all good. I'm mentally prepared, and that's all that matters.
If you say so. Mentally prepared. I think physically prepared sounds like it might be even a step above that.
Yeah, well, you know, it helps. If you know me long enough, everyone, you know, I will be, preparing at the last minute and winging it.
All right. Let's actually get into, we've got episode 3 here of ANW season 12.
And my man, was I right or was I right? They changing up the episodes, 2 episodes each episode. I was so happy to see that because this was the episode I was kind of worried. I'm like, oh man, are we going to get, like you were thinking, if I remember correctly, them, you know, going back to episodes 1 obstacles, right?
Basically, yeah. So I thought
man, I'm glad.
I figured they would do 2 days of filming in a row and then just flip them around for the sequence. So I'm glad to see that they did swap them out. We didn't get the same obstacles again. I was pleasantly surprised to be wrong on that.
Yeah, and they're good they're good obstacles, man. This, like, the cannonball type thingy, I forgot the name they have for it. That's always like a ninja killer. That thing's hard, but this new, like, nunchuck type thing with, like, a honeycomb, like, I liked it, and I really like the fact that it doesn't just do a 180. It does, like, a full-on 360. Like, it completely destroys your momentum, and you have to, like, do some weird, awkward movements, contorting yourself, and then you have to build up your movement again. And really, all that hanging is gonna drain out your forearm strength and everything. And you know, pairing that with that little, I don't know, the
Ferris wheel thing.
The Ferris wheel thing, yeah. Like, that's going to drain out your arms. That's probably why we saw a lot of people failing at that Ferris wheel tonight.
I hadn't really thought of that. The combination, the 1-2 punch, I guess, did them in. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, man.
I liked it. I thought it was good. I liked the beehive, I think they called it. Yeah, I don't think I liked it as much as you did, but it was all right. We had some, you know, it was good to mix things up. We always like seeing new obstacles, and that one fits in great. So, no complaints.
Yeah, and dude, I just gotta say, this episode was a win for me. We got Sim Saray, the
yes.
best segment ever. We got a lot of David Campbell. We got Jessie Graff. You know, we got Thomas Stillings in one heck of a whole segment that we'll talk about. Like, yo, this episode was packed full of personalities that we know and love. So, big old win on that, like, factor. If you're a diehard fan of the show, this was an episode for you to watch.
Yeah, it felt like it was made for us. In a lot of ways, it was like,
yeah, man.
Wow, like, we couldn't have scripted this better. It went so well and had so many, like you said, so many of our favorites, ones we, you know, ninjas that we bring up all the time and specifically adore. So let's get into some of these runs. And I know we're going to jump around. There's no way we're going in sequence, but I got to start that right off the bat. We got Booty Cothran right out the door. Booty Van Wagon.
You know, honestly, the thing that stood out to me more than anything else in this, like, for this whole segment for Booty was, I forgot what Matt said, but he said something like real sus. Do you remember what he said?
He got flushed on the second. He'd get flushed on number 2 or something along those lines.
Booty got flushed. Yeah, it was something to that effect. I was like, oh man. Hey, go with it, I guess, right?
Yeah, it was like, so how do you knock out? So he makes toilet paper for one, which is fantastic. Picked a great time to start doing it. And then, how do you not just call it booty paper? Like, I mean, it's just like right there.
Oh, man. Oh, that was beautiful. I mean, everybody knows that you're your father, but that was the biggest dad joke ever. So that was beautiful. That was grade A stuff.
Thank you very much. It is. Oh, jeez, I couldn't love the guy more. I was so disappointed he fell early. I mean, first run of the night is like, oh, Booty's not going on. There's no way. But yeah, I didn't expect him to go that early.
I mean, kind of when you think about it, I feel like Booty might have done very well if he got past that because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, remembering back, but Booty's pretty good at like holding it up his body weight because, I mean, he doesn't really have much, right?
Yeah, he's tremendous. He's perfectly capable of doing the whole thing. I was just reading into the placement. I'm like, oh, he's the first run.
Well,
that's not a good spot.
But man, that sucks because I feel like he could have done very well on this course if he got past that.
Yeah, he'd hang forever on the Ferris wheel if he had to. I'm trying to think which ones we've seen him do that on where he is just hanging forever, it seemed. I can't remember.
Dude, I'm sure there's plenty. Like,
I think it's
sure there are rings
like
and stuff.
The roulette wheel, I think, was one of them where he was just like on there forever.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
I kind of feel like he did that one like that palm tree obstacle last year. Maybe
that's it. But yeah, sorry to see Booty go, but love to see that he got a little segment and we get to see him again. Hope he keeps coming back. Let me think. Who else can we jump around to? Let's go Thomas Stillings because I was so excited to see him and get the full segment from him.
Visually profound vignette of the night. I mean, it was amazing. Not like a yay way, but it was gut-wrenching and raw and real, seeing Thomas Stillings like really show his emotions like that. Usually somebody that's just so jovial, but you know, like this is some real stuff that happened, and yeah, I don't know, it was gut-wrenching for me, man.
Yeah, like so that was the kicker. So I'm like, Thomas is on. I'm so excited to see him. Can't wait to see his run. He always makes me laugh. Like his segment. It's like crying like I'm a mess. So what happened? Like, oh no. It all worked out in the end, but I like this wasn't the segment I was hoping for. I really hope he gets to show the lighter side a little bit later, but so deep into it, like felt every moment of it. And then they just like I thought I was through it and he got to hit the buzzer and then he was just a wreck on top at the buzzer too. And it was like, oh, you're killing me, Thomas. Like, so happy to see him. But at the same time, I was like, okay. I mean, if anyone's going to give us an inspirational run, it was him. So glad that he was able to do it. Like, all the props in the world. Just, yeah, let's go back to Genie Pants. Let's get back to some fun-loving stories next time.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a story that needed to be told. I mean, it was a little ham-fisted, I gotta say. They did the cliche that I always talk about, where he's like looking off to the sunset and everything. I'm like, oh man, they had to do my man dirty with that, huh? They had to get that shot in. But like the content, like actually there, it was real. And more than anything else, I feel for his wife. I hope she's doing well. It seems, if I remember correctly, like if I heard it all correctly, that she is 100% recovered and that it's all like taken care of, the tumor. But I mean, if not, if there are follow-up appointments and everything, I just wish the very best for them because man, they're so young and that's hard to see for just a couple so young. And yeah, man, I like you. It's like Thomas. I mean, I don't know him in real life like that, but I've chatted with him and stuff. He seems like such a good guy, and it's almost like one of your buddies. Is going through hard times. It's hard to see, but yeah, I just wish him the best, and I really hope he has more happiness, and I certainly hope they bring him back because they did my man dirty by not letting him come on last semester. Like almost said last season, like. Yes. You like ANW, please don't let like this be the thing that somebody has to go through to get on this show. Please, let Thomas Stillings be fun next season. Yes. Oh gosh, I hope there's no more sadness in his life.
Yes, all of that. So moving on, let's keep on this trajectory for a minute and talk about these disappointing falls that just happened across the whole episode. Like how many different ones did we have that were just like out of nowhere?
Well, what was the most shocking for you? Because I definitely have one.
It's a hard pick. I'm gonna say Michelle Warnke's probably surprised me the most.
Wow, Michelle, huh?
Yeah, like Adams. We can talk about Adams, who I'm guessing might be yours, but Michelle's was early, and I was expecting big things from her yet again, and I really didn't see that one coming.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Najee fell, right?
No, he missed the mega wall, but he didn't fall.
Who am I thinking of? It must have been Adam Rail then. I remember somebody was doing like this cross arm thingy majigger and fell
Rail
on the Ferris wheel.
Yep,
that was Adam.
It was Adam.
Oh man, that sucked. Yeah, I remember I was just so hyped, and the silver lining is that guy went so fast that he did make it through to the next round. I definitely made sure to keep an eye out for like my top favorites, but that was super, super surprising.
Yeah, we had some other ones where we mentioned Booty. Quest O'Neill went out early. That kind of sucked. We didn't get a full segment from her, but we did see she went out. Who else? Rachel Goldstein.
Yeah, what was the names? Zanique or something like that?
Janique Levitt.
Janique, yeah. I remember she's so good, but she fell also.
Yeah, but I think she went on, though, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I mean, the top, in terms of the female ninjas, we definitely had Jessie Graff and Michelle Warnke, but those were like the two big name ones. Michelle obviously did probably not move on due to where she fell, but Janique, that's good to hear at least. Obviously, Jessie, is moving on.
Yeah.
I think the main segment for me that, were there any other falls that surprised you that you want to talk about?
Sean Darling Hammond kind of was surprising.
Oh, yeah.
But no, those are the big ones, I guess.
Yeah. Well, so highlight of the episode for me. Guess what it was?
Gee, I can't imagine what it would be. I was just like smiling ear to ear.
Well, there's two big ones that I could think of, but what do you think it was for me?
It's gotta be David Campbell. Like, there's no way David Campbell wasn't like a huge thing for you.
It was a huge thing. Dang, I was gonna play you. It's tied, my man. There are two top segments of this whole episode. Now, Thomas Stillings gets the visually profound, video of the night, but the athletically profound run of the night.
What could it be?
David Campbell, you get the athletically profound run of the night. Dang straight, my man. Oh my gosh, this was beautiful. First of all, Rich, as soon as they show David Campbell and he gets a full-on segment, you're like, where is this going? And then all of a sudden, they're just showing that he orders pizzas, and this is like the most random video segment of all time. I am like, you know what? Any other person, I would be hating on this, but this is David Campbell. I love it. It's David Campbell. Give me more David Campbell, and I will eat it up. But as soon as I saw this and there was nothing really there of substance, my man, I was like instantly, David Campbell's going to the power tower. Did you feel that way? It was like either he's going to a power tower or he's hitting that mega wall. That was like only running through my head.
Yeah, I guess so. I second guessed it. So when it first went, I had kind of the same thought process. I'm like, okay, this was kind of cute. I liked how they played it up. Like, I think they did a good job of making pizza delivery more interesting. And it was kind of a funny thought for me.
Did they, though?
A little bit, just with the dog chasing him and the weird little things that they did. Like,
yes.
For what it was, I think they did a good job. And it just kind of made me start thinking, like, I can't imagine David Campbell showing up at my house and delivering a pizza. Like, what kind of a tip would you leave? Like, it's just kind of weird thought process that kind of kept me interested.
That would definitely be, strange, but it would be awesome. It would be, I wouldn't mind it.
But then I was like, so he must do really well. But I almost got second guessed myself. I did definitely second guess myself because when he got stuck and managed to get off of it, I'm like, oh, that's why they gave him a segment and maybe he'll hit the buzzer. That was like it. That basically, that was the reason they showed his whole thing.
Man, 100%. I was like, this dude is going to a power tower. And then like you, when he got stuck, I was like, this dude is hitting the Mega Wall. There is no way. Like, I just know ANW too much, man. Like, how many years they've been doing my man dirty. There is no way they're going to devote this much time to David Campbell without, like, some crazy story that he's got. It's not a new story. It's just him delivering pizzas. I'm like, there is a reason they are devoting this much time. He did something here. And sure enough, it was a Mega Wall. But, bro, we got to talk about him catching himself on that Mega Wall. He got it with, like, what was it, like 2 fingertips?
That was crazy. I don't
Like,
think they
that's
gave that
insane.
enough credit, because they kind of showed it, but, like, did you guys not see? Like, he caught it with almost nothing and managed to get up there.
Yeah, that dude must be doing, like, the, I forget what it's called. You know the obstacle in Sasuke where you're just hanging by, like, your barely your fingertip?
Oh, with the...
He must be training that all day long, because that man ran up, like, however high that Mega Wall was, and then basically held up all of his body weight on that after doing how many obstacles before that? Like, that's insane, man.
Yeah, I think Vertical Limit, is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, Vertical Limit. It's like a super, like, way worse cliffhanger for everyone.
Right. Imagine they took the handles off the cliffhanger and they had to use the bottom of the wall.
Yeah. Oh, man. But, yeah, that was awesome. But, dude, Sem Garay.
Yeah, right.
Love this. I love this so much. He's going all in. The production was on point. What was his manager's name?
Oh,
do you have it on your notes? It was like something Pablo or something like that. Like,
I had it and I don't remember.
well, whatever it was, that man is an amazing, beautiful, bearded man. Like you, Rich. He is just a lovely human being. Oh my gosh. He had, like, the most velveteen voice, you know, just talking to the audience. I am like, yes, talk to me, please. And he's like, he was just so perfect with it. And then Sem Garay comes in looking like a hero, like the champion of American Ninja Warrior. Like, man, I would be, like, in the front stands cheering this man on with no matter what he's doing. Holds up the belt. I am like, yes, Sem Garay, you are my champion. You are the best in the world. And man, he just rocking it, just like chiseled body, just running through this course, being awesome. Oh, I loved every second of it. Now, I have no idea if he passed on, if he moved on to the next round, but this was such an amazing, amazing segment.
Oh, that's a good question. I think he made it. He was pretty deep and pretty quickly. I'm going to check here quickly as we're talking.
So give me something to talk about next then.
So, as far as the way he was going through the course, like he's a competitor. Like he's not just a pretty face. I don't.
He's not just a character.
Yeah, like he moves like a ninja too. Not like an athlete that's just kind of doing ninja for exposure, or like he really has that quality, right? He moves really well in the air. Like when he got up on the beehive and stuff. He can build up momentum. He can move his body through and readjust and make sure that he can do all the things that he has to do to get through on Ninja. Like, it's pretty cool.
And one thing is, his body language and everything, he actually exudes a lot of charisma, which is something that's kind of hard to have, or I should say, hard to fake. You know, you either have it or you don't, and he really has all that charisma by being a performer, and not only that, by having his manager and people around him. It was just awesome. One thing that definitely docks it, I don't remember if it was his run or somebody else's run, but somebody did a really terrible floss and had everybody doing the floss, and I just wanted to just like die inside. That was awful.
Yeah, that was him. I don't understand why he was doing that.
It's like, this is 2020, and you don't get the excuse of, oh, you know, we filmed this a year ago or anything. No. We filmed this in 2020. What are you doing the floss? So
bad. And yes, I was able to, what's the term? Filibuster long enough to get the answer. No, he did not move on.
That's so unfortunate.
He must have just missed it.
Yeah. Can his manager come back? Like, can his manager be like somebody else's manager? Like,
I want him cheering on.
Like, be the hype man for Jessie Graff or something.
Well, that was the thing. Like, as I was watching Jessie's friends run and she's on the sidelines, I was thinking how fantastic a job she does, right? Like at everything she does, but even on the sidelines, she is such a great spirit. And like, that's who I would want cheering for me if I couldn't have Sam Garay's manager on the sidelines, because that guy is amazing.
Honestly, you know who would fit in really well is Thomas Stillings. I feel like Thomas, we've seen him have, like a very fun, character vibe and everything like that. I feel like he'd ham it up quite a bit with that manager. So I think they might be a good pairing.
Grant McCartney. Get him out there with Grant McCartney.
Oh, man. Grant's too much of a big character himself, though.
But he would play off. I mean, like Sam Garay's not, right? Like, so get the manager off there cheering. Grant would just soak it up and reflect it back.
Yeah. Grant's built like a wrestler anyways, right? Like,
Yep. It would not be out of place. So actually, yeah, let's talk about that for just a second. Why did it never occur to me? And I think that's been like at the back of my brain with the Towers of Power this whole time is, of course they're in wrestling. Of course there are. Like, why wouldn't they be? They're built like wrestlers. They behave like wrestlers. The name is like straight out of wrestling. Yeah, of course they're involved in like the local wrestling scene. Like, duh.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that either. I'm really happy that Dan Palisi, man, he hit the buzzer and everything, and they just flew past Dan Palisi.
Yeah.
But the other guy, why am I blanking on his name? Who's the other power
Brandon
tower?
Mears.
Brandon Mears, yeah. Dude, like, what is this, the fourth year in a row he's like gone out due to the balance obstacle? That's rough, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy how it's got his number. He just cannot seem to get it.
Yeah.
Like
to his credit,
before.
I mean, this was a tough one.
Yeah, this one, I think, it's funny they mentioned about David Campbell, because that's the first thing I thought as I was watching him go along. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen him fall on that on stage one more than once. Like, that has been his kryptonite in stage one in the past.
That's a good point. Was it like a few seasons David Campbell was like taken out by the first whatever, like the qualifying round due to that balance obstacle. So yeah, I'm glad he got past that.
He's had it rough. But yeah, not this year. And Brandon Mears unfortunately did move on, but Dan Palisi, like you said, did great. He got fast forwarded, but he did make it and hit the buzzer, which is great because he did well last year. I was pretty excited to see Austin Gray do well this year. I was hyping him up last year, and he didn't have a good season. Glad to see he was able to hit the buzzer and got a good time. Looking really strong. Not so much on the segment, but on the... Because they didn't really give him a full segment either. But
that's why I was like, I don't really have much to say, because like they kind of fast-forwarded through his thing.
They did.
I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Hopefully that means he's going to get a full segment on the next round, semifinals. I don't know how... I'm almost said the city finals, but we don't really have that. Who else we got?
We got Najee, we got Jessie Graff, so we got those two.
Yeah, let's talk Najee. So you forgot that he finished the course.
So I forgot.
Yeah. So let me remind you. So Najee was, did really well. He's all taped up. Every time I see him, he seems to have more of that. What is it called? Kinetic tape. It's like he's going to be nothing but tape here one of these years. He didn't hit a single buzzer last year. That's so crazy.
I didn't remember that either. That's pretty insane. I mean, in my head, like the last I saw him, he was gassing out on stage 2, like in that water tank thing. So everything between that, it was like a blur to me,
Yeah, he that was 2 years ago. So last year, he just didn't hit a single, but didn't hit qualifying, city, or stage 1. Just had a bad year. But not this year. He hit a buzzer. It was a weird mix for him, I found, on the course. Like, he looked overall pretty strong, but not as strong as we've seen him. He wasn't as fluid through the whole course as we've seen Daniel or RJ or others going through where they're just like breezing through it, and he does most of the time. Even though it was in his wheelhouse, which makes me a little nervous for him, right? Like, a lot of these things are perfectly suited for him, like the Beehive and the Ferris wheels are things that I would expect him to fly through, but not so much.
That's a really good point, actually. I didn't really consider that, but he really is, with his background, kind of made for, in particular, the Beehive, like comfort flying through the air and such. I mean, I wouldn't say that he looked bad from what I remember, but I don't know. I think he might just be saving himself for the next round. I mean, I feel like whatever is next in the rounds, I feel like those are going to require a lot more of those precision type technique obstacles, like the double dipper and such like that, where you only get like one chance to complete it. And I feel like Najee's best when he's, handling those types of obstacles.
Yeah, we'll see. I love him to death. I hope he does great. Little worried. It's not that he was bad, because he finished the course and he almost got the mega wall. He was like fingertips away. So
hey, not everybody can be David Campbell, my man. DC.
That's true. Yeah, he was not quite where I expected. Jessie, let's move on to Jessie. Jessie was a little rocky at times, but very excited to see that she hit the buzzer and tied the other Jessie for 5 buzzers.
Dude,
great.
More than anything else, and I don't want to be the one of those peeps, but dang, Jessie is so fit. Like, she looked great tonight in terms of just like build. I am like, this woman, I mean, you and I already know she works out nonstop. Like, all she does is work out. But geez, that woman is fit. I was like, you go, Jessie. That is amazing. And yeah, I thought she looked really good today. Today. She looked really good on the course, like going through all the obstacles. Yeah, she fell on that Ferris wheel thing. Oh, wait. No, she didn't.
No, she fell. So she stumbled.
She hit
coming
the buzzer.
off of...
What am I talking about? Yeah. Anyways, she struggled on the Ferris wheel a little bit. Or no. You know what? Never mind, guys. I'm thinking about the wrong person. Now it's coming back to me. She went on the bottom and everything. All right.
Yeah, she did.
Rewind. See, this is the stuff, guys, where we usually edit it out, but I'm just going with it. All right. So I actually really enjoyed how Jessie went through this the Ferris wheel obstacle. Only because she went through the bottom and she kept her L's. If you guys see any of her social media, she trains really hard on keeping up the L's and her lock-offs and all that stuff. So she actually has a strength in that area where a lot of people typically don't have strengths in. So that's actually a situation where, going on the bottom route is actually more beneficial because she didn't have to drain herself out, locking off and then, lifting herself up and doing a bunch of pull-ups and using quote unquote her muscles. Ratherwise, she's using technique and just doing a straight off lock off to the side, constantly shifting her body weight to the side. And it worked for her. It's more movements, but if you can withstand it, it's not going to drain you as much, and it worked for her. So I thought that was really smart, and I hope more people that actually have experience with lock-offs actually implement that strategy, like Jessie Graff, because I think it'll work better for them than trying to do that giant drop on the second round and them falling off.
I like her so much. I could watch her all day, and especially how she tackles the course. It's just unlike anyone else, and not for the sake of being different, but I feel like it's for efficiency and for working to her strengths. And if you just start stringing more obstacles, right? Like city finals level, I feel is her strength and where she typically shines, right? You're coming very close to being the number one or only finisher a few times now. And I feel like you said efficiency of movement through that obstacle. I'd be interested. They always say that it's more movements, and I think technically it would be. But watch when she gets on there. I am quite sure that she skipped one of the rungs first. She also transitioned from halfway back. She didn't make. I bet she made less movements overall, and I bet that was all planned ahead of time. There's no way she got on there and did it at the last second. She looked. She did the calculations, and she figured out the best way for her without, like you said, having to lift herself up. It's like, no, if I go along the bottom, if I skip that one, and if I dismount early, that's actually less movements overall, or the same, and I don't have to go up. Yeah.
It's very methodical, and I appreciate the fact that you brought that up of she always scouts her routes before she does it, and I very much appreciate that.
But yeah, so she'll be moving on. Wonder Woman 84 coming out soon. Hopefully, we'll see it. Who else we got? Who else was on this
RJ
episode?
Roman, Sean Bryan, my man.
Okay, let's do Sean Bryan. Let's do Sean Bryan first. Sean, we get to see the whole injury segment and his recovery. That was interesting. Just to make sure that he was okay. And I liked that they kind of showed video from the different months and where he was at and kind of get a sense of how it progressed. And because, a shoulder injury could mean 100 different things to 100 different people. So knowing that he's injured it multiple times and that it's a little harder to recover each time, it's good. Made you feel it a little more and understand where he was coming into the season.
Yeah, he's definitely had, injuries, but like you said, I appreciate the fact that we got to kind of see the rehab, and it almost, kind of like Ninjas before, with coming in with injuries, it kind of makes you like worried seeing them on the course, but I don't know, I felt like he was in a good place, in good shape to do well. I kind of just expected Sean Bryan to just destroy this course, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I did too, especially where he was placed and everything. Like, you start reading into the episodes and whatever. It's like, yeah, John's got it, I'm pretty sure. I have been tripped up and fooled a couple times this season already, so I'm not going to take it fully for granted. Yeah, he did great. Had a great time. And then it was just a matter of, okay, so in an episode where we have Najee Richardson, David Campbell crushing it, getting the mega wall and everything else,
who's last?
And we've got RJ Roman running last. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I think it was pretty obvious what's going to happen.
Like, as great as RJ is, and I feel like you've been really high up on him from the get-go.
I love RJ, but he's not a Najee or Sean Bryan. Let's be real, he's not. But
right, I don't understand this placement at all. It was just weird.
Well, I do. It's obvious,
why?
Like after.
Right, after the fact, but why? But like, how is it? Just doesn't help anything.
This is a Palm Wonderful situation,
yes,
huh?
It's 1,000% a Palm Wonderful situation. Just because they took the name out doesn't mean they don't still do it. It's just frustrating. It's like, okay, RJ, go beat the time so that Thomas can't run on it, which I was a little disappointed, but fine. It's all credit to him. He did amazing.
I'm happy for him because he did phenomenal. This man flew through it, and it's one of those things where what I like about RJ is he isn't such like a technical whiz where he's like I don't know, any of the technical guys, right? That just do it and it just looks like nothing. He's not Daniel Gill where it's just like, really? Like, he's just like flowing through the air. Like, RJ's kind of like this manic wild man that's just like attacking the course and just like, I'm gonna get through this no matter what I can do. And it's frantic, it's manic, but it works. And it's very entertaining. And I loved every second of it. And he gritted it out. Like, when he actually gets the fastest time and everything like that, he earned that fastest time. And it was awesome. And he earned it by like a lot too. It wasn't even close. So,
I'm actually looking at the times right now. So he did it in 1:10 and Sean Bryan was at 1:28. Like, that's a pretty huge difference.
Yeah. So, there you go. And we'll talk about the Power Tower next, but once again, like, this dude's entertaining in terms of like him just going for it.
Oh my God. Do you know what Adam Rail's time was when he fell? And he was right at the end of that obstacle.
What's that?
35 seconds.
No.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason why he wins all these competitions, right? Like,
that's insane. Oh, wait. No, that would have been at the time he got onto the Ferris wheels. Never mind. That makes more sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
That at least
Even
seems
still
a little bit more human because, jeez.
So yeah, the RJ did amazing, and as much as I was a little disappointed that Thomas wasn't moving on, I did like the little segment that they did with the two, with RJ versus Sean Bryan. It was kind of a funny way to pair them off in that way, right? With the rock and roll.
So what happened?
Well, for rock and roll, right? They do the devil horns and stuff, and he's like kind of the rebel, and so, Sean Bryan with the little like winking and a nod to the camera, basically like, he's the speed demon. I guess I'm the speed angel, something along those lines. I was like, that's kind of, and they put a little halo and devil horns on them. it was
glad I
pretty
skipped
cheesy, but it was cute, right? It was kind of interesting, but I liked actually beyond that, just the little cheesy. Besides the cheesiness, they were both kind of building each other up. It was a nice way to do it. So
Yeah.
he's saying,
cute, but I'm very glad I skipped it.
right. Well, Sean Bryan's saying like, okay, this is the last person I wanted to go against. RJ is insanely fast. Like, this is going to be really difficult. Like, if anybody on the field, RJ is the guy you do not want to be facing in the power tower.
I mean, I'm sure Adam Rail's got something to say about that, but
right.
yeah, I would agree. RJ definitely is a wild man, and oh man, it was just so entertaining. I mean, I just want to get into like what happened. It was just craziness.
Right. Well, I just want to say one last thing. So after he said that, I thought, well, that was nice. I loved listening to RJ. Made me laugh out loud because he's like, Sean Bryan's like an elite gymnast. He's done all these time. Like, I've never done any athletics in my entire life. Like, this is the only thing that I do with that for athletics. So it was kind of funny.
How much did I skip, dude? Like, I skipped all of that.
I guess so.
But he's not wrong, and that's kind of what makes him, in my opinion, more relatable and awesome. Is the fact that he doesn't come from some crazy background of all this athletics. Kind of the real life version of American Ninja Warrior, what it's supposed to be. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I hadn't thought of that. That's kind of the spirit of what it was always intended to be. At least in my mind.
Yeah.
So the power tower itself. You're anxious to get into it, so go ahead. What did you think of the race?
It was craziness. Like, this dude just runs. It was almost like he just threw his body at the tower. It was like, all right, let's just see what happens. He's just holding on for his dear life, sliding down the dang pole, and he's like just frantically trying to climb these things. It was almost like watching them. You had to watch it twice because you just didn't know what the heck happened the first time. You're like, what? Huh? But it was just so awesome. And then that last portion where he came from behind and was like, I think he passed Sean Bryan like going into that last like batch of obstacles.
He climbed the pole. He climbed the pole. So I do want to step through a little bit. So Sean Bryan got the early lead, but he made up the time climbing the poles, and they both kind of hit the flying ledges, I don't know what you want to call them, where they have to jump from one ledge to the next at about the same time, right? They're pretty dead heat at that point. And I got to say, I'm like, Sean's going to kick his butt, right? This is right in his wheelhouse. He's going to bring this home. But you go ahead and finish what happened. If you could remember what RJ did.
The dude just threw himself at the very last one. Like, it's too far from the ledge is too far from that shelf grab where they're swinging from, where you can just fling yourself all the way to the pad. It's just too far. But what he did instead was almost like what you see on Team Ninja Warrior, where he just throws himself at the next shelf, and it's almost like, where you kind of have to just touch it to like move on. It seemed like he just like barely touched it, but he had enough momentum where he touched it and kind of like kept flinging himself over and manically threw himself at this ledge and barely caught himself. Like, I think it was just 1 foot hanging onto the pad where he like caught himself. And then he just like threw himself at that buzzer, man. It was awesome. And all this happened in like a split second.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad they replayed it because I didn't really catch what he had done. I was so confused. I'm like, how did he just do that? What did he do? And when they replay it, you see a perfect description, right? It was like Team Ninja Warrior where they do the flying shelf thing and just tap that last shelf. The difference is he's however many feet in the air, way too damn high to be doing that. But on top of that, the shelves move down. They drop when you grab them. He didn't seem to care. Like, it was moving as he used it to boost himself up to that last ledge. That shouldn't have worked. There isn't a realm where that should have worked, and somehow it did. I was incredibly impressed. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, that's straight up dopeness. And that's the cool stuff about American Ninja Warrior, honestly. It's like, you see that stuff. It's not like Titan games where it's like, hey, big man, break this rock. All right, well, I wonder who's going to win. The 200-pound guy build a muscle, or the 150-pound guy that's a freaking CrossFit runner.
Right.
I don't know. Let's see.
It's foolish. I
Sorry.
do have to say, I
hate to throw shade, but that show just annoys me. I don't know why it's so highly viewed.
Yeah, I don't know. The Rock is the only real answer. Because
that is the answer.
because he's entertaining. But I do have to say, it made me want to go back and watch it because Jessie was on it. I'm like, maybe I want to watch that episode. I'm not sure.
I mean, I saw the episode. It was a good episode, but
yeah. That was it for this episode of ANW, and I liked it a lot. It was really good.
Yeah, it was fun, man. ANW kicking butt this season. I'm telling you, like, this is entertaining stuff.
And on our previews for next week, I was trying to think of who was left, and they gave us a little sneak preview. We've got Megan Martin. We've still got Joe Moravsky. Good stuff still to come.
Yeah. I won't be here to recap it, but,
That's right. That's right. I will have a new co-host next week. Still finalizing who that's going to be. Thank you.
TBD, guys.
TBD, and thank you for those that have reached out. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. But until then, thank you all so much for listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Yeah, hit me up at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151 on Twitter and Instagram. You'll see some really cool pictures of my honeymoon to my wonderful future wife, Sarah Ann Naruzian. I love you, babe. Mwah.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening, and have a wonderful week.
Peace, love, and deuces, y'all.